And welcome back to Edric, Poon and Company, the podcast where anybody can inspire everybody. As you can see, here we are at City Music, and they have been so kind as to host us over here and record this thing live. So if there are people walking by, there's music going on, don't mind us because this is a music shop. There's lots of equipment to play with, so this is going to be awesome. And that being said, who better to bring in than the founders or the owners of City Music? As some of you may know, I've spoken with Gary, who was a second generation business owner. Now, I've got the opportunity to speak with someone who's the third generation of business ownership. And that's really cool because this is where we can learn not just of one generation down to the second, but are there things that have also gone down from the first all the way to the third? And has there been an evolution along these lines? So that being said, what does a business look like and how does it transform after 3 generations? Here's the current owner as well as director of sales, Yeegn Lougn, over here at City Music. Thanks so much for joining us, Yeegn Lougn.
Thanks for having me, Edric.
No problem, man.
Welcome to our space here.
Oh, it's so much fun doing the podcast here. The last time around, we were talking about this, and honestly, it's a playground for me. Like, as you can see, I mean, this isn't for, okay, partly it is for show. It's a for show, right? But there's so much stuff here. Geez, if I had a credit card that had no limit, well, wait, let me say that again. If I didn't have to pay it back to the bank, everything would be spent over here. I'd probably buy out a space over here so that I could do this all day long.
That's the whole idea of the space, yeah.
Yeah, man. Super, super fun. And again, thank you so much to you and the team helping me set up the lights, giving me the space to do this. And again, having this live experience for anybody who wants to come in here and do a podcast, it's really an eye-opener because you don't get this very often anywhere else. And Singapore is so damn small.
That's right.
You don't get that, right?
Yep.
So that being said, now let's get on to the podcast straight away. All right. I don't want to waffle too much about this. You've been here, I would say, in City Music for a long time.
A long time, since 2000. The year 2000.
Yeah. So, okay, what were you doing before that?
I was in Australia. Did a crash course in Western Australia, and supposed to be a 2-year plus course, but I crashed it and finished it and came back.
Now, you started off, again, you were a student, you came back and immediately, somehow or other, were you like thrust into the deep end of this business and go, okay, just get straight into it?
I grew up basically in the music industry, if you can imagine. So, holidays, I will be in the store, learning stuff, checking out, talking to customers, doing deliveries, doing everything, right? So, initial plan was after studying, I did marketing. I did a major marketing and PR, and I thought that maybe I could go out and do something first, get some experience, and maybe can bring back something later on. But so if you wind back the year 2000, we just barely recovered from the 98, 97 crisis.
Yep.
So a lot of businesses, including ours, were caught in a difficult situation. So it was, I came in at a point that I had to do quite a bit of a housekeeping and discovered a lot of issues that need to be ironed out, to a lot of trash that need to be cleared out. So it took me about 3 years to rework the operations and or at the same time learning, of course.
Did you have to go through this, I would say, revelation of, hey, this isn't exactly what they taught me in school?
Obviously, I mean, I come to terms that, being good in your results and examinations, that's not going to, that could help you in some way. But it's, at the end of the day, after meeting people who are street smart, people who are less academically decorated, but they can be way, way smarter and street smart than you. They know a lot more than you. So that's where, I think that's where the learning from the guys on the street.
For me, I'm fascinated by the way, somebody grows up in not exactly a musical family, but, being surrounded by this entire group of individuals who are so into the industry is one thing, but I'm sure that you also had a lot of influences from real musicians that would come by, and you've
Obviously.
probably met them along the way.
Obviously. Our company grew up alongside with the nation, put it this way. We are almost as old.
Right.
We had the pleasure and the honor to grow alongside with legends in the music scene. We are talking about big names like Jeremy Montero, for example, Henry Chua, the Quest. Even when we launched the space, we invited all of them here. They were. It was such a nice gathering to see all these faces, and then we start to think back and say, "Oh, we have friends from this generation, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, all coming under one roof." And I think it's a very, very beautiful melting pot.
That's awesome, man. Let's go back now. When we talked about doing this podcast, right, it was really about picking your brain about what kind of generational wisdom came through. But before we do that, let's set the context. Now, you mentioned earlier on that City Music it's over 60 years old. And I
55.
55. It's 55 years old, right? What I love was the story you told me about your grandfather and how he was perhaps the first ever piano tuner, right? Was it sponsored by Yamaha, right? To be sent overseas?
Okay, so actually, to date back, so my grandparents are originally from China, Shanghai. So if you imagine in the 1930s, where China was not in the most best position, economics and just life was tough then. And at that time, a lot of these immigrants with just a shirt on the back came over to this part of Southeast Asia, Nanyang. My grandparents settled down in Malaysia, in the northern state of Perak, in the city called Ipoh. So he opened up this piano. Of course, he came from a acoustic piano background.
Okay.
So he was already in the piano trading business. So he opened up a piano shop in Ipoh in the 30s, in the 40s, called Nanfong Piano. And that's where my father grew up, in this shop house. And during my father's teenage years, so there was an opportunity to, Yamaha in Singapore was opening up apprenticeship for piano technician. That's where my father, Willie Ho, he was recommended by my grandfather. Hey, my son here, take him. I think it's a good candidate. So that's how he started. Came to Singapore, working with Yamaha. He was one of the few, very rare, that had the opportunity to be sent to Japan. Yamaha's Japanese factory in Hamamatsu to study, to be trained as a piano technician, and that's where his career in the industry began. My grandmother had the vision of, okay, let's open up another satellite from Ipoh. So she opened up City Music together with my father and her sister.
Yeah, it's cool. Then fast forward to when you were growing up under, of course, your parents' roof. Traditionally, right, or at least where I come from, there's the whole doctor, lawyer, engineer, architect kind of thing. Now you come from a completely different world, right? In the music industry, from piano trading to piano tuning, right? And being a technician, opening up your own music store. So again, you come from a different world. Did your father or did your parents ever say, it's fine if you want to come back to the business, but kind of get your doctorate first or something?
No, I think it's they are quite open about it. Of course, they would wish that there will be a continuity in the business.
Okay, so they really wanted legacy.
Of course, they did not enforce it that you must do it. It will be good if you can. If you're not, it's
sounds
whatever.
like Asian guilt trip to me. It's okay if you don't want to, but
maybe. So luckily, I did enjoy. I did not regret the decision.
Yeah, it seems like the case, right? Because one of the questions that I do tend to ask multi-generational business owners is that, did you ever feel like guilty for actually considering other options?
Not at all, because as I said, even if
It's a choice, right?
it's a choice, and every choice there is consequences. You make your own choice. You are accountable for whatever decision, and even if it's a bad decision, try to make the best out of it, right?
True. And then give me a hot take on that, because again, here we are in Singapore. I've got a kid of my own, and kids being his age, I think whoever's been listening to this for a while has also knows that my kid has said, Dad, I want to be a YouTuber. I'm like, oh well, hold your horses.
What's your take?
My take, Jesus. I say, if you want to be a YouTuber, fine, but don't do stuff that will rot your brain, and don't do stuff that will hurt other people. I still believe that the content that we put out, if you want to be an influencer, think about it. What's the role of an influencer? To influence, right? So be a positive influence, right? Don't go over there like trying to hang newspaper somewhere, or prank an old lady, or try and steal someone's dog and run away just because you want some clicks. That is just...
No.
I think that brings the person's humanity and behavior and I think just upbringing, right, to a new low. Yep. So personally, I don't like that.
That's right.
But that being said, what's your take on the youth going into a creative role now?
I think many of us are in some way, some form of already a content creator. If you're going to post something on your social media, most of us are on social media, but if you're going to be it depends. What is your motive of being a content creator? Is it for personal glory? Is it for business, for your work, for passion? I have to agree with you. It has to be inspiring. It has to bring out positivity. Yes, you want people to talk about it, but talk about it for what purpose is. Yes, they are doing something here, or there's something I can learn and I can share. Right. Yeah. So I think that's to me it's great.
Absolutely, because you're in a very good position to talk about this actually, from big influencers to the rise of the micro influencer now, right? And we're here in sunny Singapore. It's overly sunny at this point in time. That why I have to agree. The micro influencer is starting to boom, right? Or is it not even starting? Sorry, it's already been booming.
Yep.
But then with any boom, you'll see the top quality ones, which are doing very well, and those that are, well, trying, right?
Yep.
As a business owner yourself, right? How do you actually like reach out to these people and engage and actually, I think, gauge potential? Many a times we run businesses and or at least we meet people who are business people and they go, show me the numbers, show me your stats. What's your last month's whatever. But yet we don't know how to gauge potential. So in your perspective, right, how do you gauge the potential of a micro influencer?
It's just like even looking at who is going to be the next guitar hero, who is going to be the next, American Idol, Singapore Idol, spotting the potential. It has to be a lot of other elements besides just the talent, besides the potential. The personality is very important also, because how this person treats himself and the partners is very important. You can be the superstar, you can be, you have 1 million followers, but if you don't treat your friends and, with respect. Okay, so here we have a audience here. Well, okay, that's don't mind. So that's because we're in the space here right now. So we have to spot the potential. We like to work with rising stars because I think they are usually less demanding. They are a bit more appreciative of even the smaller support that we can give, and we always look for two-way rather than we're not going to take advantage of you, or neither do we want to be taken advantage of, which usually quite often it happens. So when we can strike a very good partnership whereby I like to give back to you, you like to give back to us, and I think that's where it will go a much longer way rather than I'm going to sign you for 1 year. And you're going to deliver all this.
It's that whole like, I want that big record deal. I want that whole, what do you call that? I want that sponsorship deal, right? I want free shit. That's what I think traditionally we always
Yes,
dreamed of.
yes,
I mean,
yes.
like again, this model has been around for over 20 years, right? People wanted free stuff. I want you to ship me stuff. Then I'll just wear it, or if I like it, I'll do something about it, right? But so what you're saying is that with the micro influencer, a lot of it is collaborative
Yes.
right now, and that word is very strange because it's gotten a bad rep too.
Yeah.
Because collaborate means give me stuff too.
Free. Yeah. I think it's if you know how to weed out the good and the bad out of it, collaborate. Yes, I agree with you. It can be a abuse term. Sometimes it's not collaborate. It's just doing it for free. But I guess we have to measure value. Even for us, we are also being sponsored in the space here. We have all these brands that are even the wall behind. We have all these brand partners. They sponsor us the equipment with the whatever form of partnership. We also need to give back. So it's finding a good balance. Sometimes the collaboration doesn't work. Sure. Well, it's opportunity cost. It's a bad decision. No, that's something that we learn.
Right.
We can pick it from there, and we learn and apply to the next opportunity. And there are also success stories that we replicate. We're going to be involved with Suntec City. They have a very good initiative to promote busking musicians. It's called Music in the City. It's by Suntec City.
Okay.
And we City Music.
Yeah. Oh, we're very
would
apt.
be the supporting partner, and we are basically outfitting the sound system. All right, so we have some rock and roll going on in the background, and we also would be partnering with Suntec as a platform with their IP. This is their Suntec's IP for this music in the city. So it's a good platform for aspiring musicians who wants a platform to showcase. It's like an open mic, put it this way.
What? Give me one of the lessons that you learned, which was a rude awakening as a business owner, that you went, okay, maybe I was towing the line and I stepped a bit too far.
Before you even sign up, or whoever this artist or this KOL when we work with, we definitely would like to look at the personality of that person. We have gotten pretty good today that we can spot out, we should work with or we should not work with this person.
Right.
When you came to when I got introduced to you, it's like the vibe is just, yes, we need to work with you.
Thank you.
Put it this way.
Thank you.
So, but what rude awakening? There was this particular musician that I don't want to name. Pretty established, the millennial generation. To be fair to this artist, he was fine. He was great, actually. But when artists get to a certain level, when they start to be managed by the management, that's where it can always be, quite often it can be a stumbling block.
Oh, wow. Because the corporate gets in the way.
Correct. And that's where things did not happen. When there's artist management, we'll drop out a contract. So when the deliverables are not met, and we started, nearing 1 year, we still see nothing, So would you want to continue, or would you want to return the equipment? That's where suddenly, perhaps we can do this and that and that. So, but I guess it came to a point that it's too little, too late. So we put out, or rather the sponsorship ended. So that's where and of course, we are also could be partially responsible because we also should be chasing for the deliverables. So again, it's the kind of relationship. Artist relation, AR, what we learn is the word itself already is relationship. We have signed artists with black and white. In fact, we also have artists that we signed only 1 year, but the relationship lasted for 15 years. So I think this is ultimately more of what we like to be pursuing.
I think one of the most important questions in any kind of, to me, is collaboration or collaborative negotiations, right? Is really asking, what is it that we both want to get out of this? We be very clear about what we want to get. And then from there, how can we support each other in reaching those goals? That's truly a collaboration rather than I'm trying to get one up over you and get some free shit. And on top of that, hit my goals. I mean, that's just a bonus, but truth be told, then you're just greedy. you know, and I don't think that looks good on whether or not you are on the business side of it or you're on the artist side of it.
That's right.
So that being said, well, maybe it's because I haven't reached that level of, you know, all these opportunities yet. So when it does happen, whoever catches me doing that, tell it to my face. Yo, you're being a greedy fella. Stop it. Okay, I got it. Because I'm a big fan of keeping to your roots, knowing where you came from.
Absolutely.
Very, very important. And with that, I want to also segue into your roots and when it came to sage business advice. Tell me something that was passed down from your grandfather to your father and yourself.
I didn't get to meet my grandfather because he left before the year I was born.
Okay.
So I didn't get to see him, but I do hear a lot of good things about him, his philosophy from my father. We are here for the long run. Being in business, I think first thing is integrity is most important. If we screw up, we own up. We don't try to cover a lie with another lie. You know, that's it will come back and haunt you.
Right.
So if we screw up, we admit it. All right, sorry about that. And there are so many opportunities that we learn that from an angry customer, we try to salvage, and that angry customer became our best customer.
With family, there will always come good times and some struggle and conflict. I think a big difference or differentiator here, right, between corporate is that I can still go home and I don't have to look at you in that sense, right? But let's just say if it's a husband and wife team or even between brothers, sometimes if you're still staying in the same house, those things, you know, you can still follow you home.
It's hard to draw the line sometimes.
Yeah, it is, especially when you look at it on a personal level. So how do you turn that into a strength? How do you turn that into something that's actually more productive than it is destructive?
We fight over what? We fight over the good cost of the operation here. Could be, how should we have handled this difficult customer here, for example? Or, you know, are we doing too much or doing too little? So we would get into such, or even me with my brother, we are both running the show here, and sometimes we'll get into arguments. But what are we fighting for? We are not fighting on a personal level. We are still fighting for how to get things done.
Right. You're not fighting for like your own rice bowl or your own personal success or ambition, but it's really because you care so much about the business, and that's why you're arguing over what could be the best thing for them.
So I'm very fortunate, actually. When I see my team fighting, they are not fighting on personal or emotions, or it's like they want to fight for the cause, a good cause, and sometimes I can appreciate why they don't see eye to eye, because they are just from different departments. For example, maybe the technical team would see things differently from the sales team, right? Because they're addressing from a technical point of view, right? The sales team will be addressing from the customer's point of view, right? Then we try to draw a balance. So if we fight, sure, let's trash it out, right? And address it and get the tone out. Yeah.
It sounds so intense, but yet civil at the same time.
It's intense and civil. Yes, you're right. It can get intense, but yes, we are still civil. We don't fight. We don't. We don't get physical, for sure.
Right? It's like among brothers, you try not to. Right? Of course, you try not to slug it out, but sometimes, I mean, I know because I have a brother myself, and we go at it sometimes, right? And we have our disagreements. And I realize that the older that we get, the fights are also not so often.
Yeah.
Not as trivial.
No.
And I think there's a lot more empathy that goes into it as well. You try and understand where they're coming from and what their situation is and all this. Now, how does a business like yours leverage on AI?
Good question. AI. So we cannot run away from that.
No, we can't. So
not at all.
How are you going to innovate and use the AI?
Do you use ChatGPT yourself?
Honestly, no. I write all my stuff myself. I still don't. Okay, look, I want to learn how to use it, but there's something in me that says, until you get good at something, then use ChatGPT. It's kind of like your foundations or your fundamentals must be good first.
So it's very controversial, obviously, because especially from this argument, AI will take away your jobs. You know, you're not going to be around. But there are certain things that AI cannot replace. Even schools, all right? I think the educators are trying to wrap their head around how to use AI properly. In fact, some teachers are actually incorporating AI so that they use the AI engine to not to cheat, not to abuse, but make use to learn better, to whatever. So for us, AI, we do use ChatGPT sometimes when we need to lay out a structure, all right? Because a lot of the information, let's say I want to put up a blog, for example. I want to talk about something that I want to share. Guitar maintenance, for example, how to take care of your guitar. You can use AI to generate a list of things, but you're not just going to be just copy and paste it because everyone can see that. But it gives you a structure that, I think probably these are things that I can work on, a structure that I can start building on. Because at the end of the day, it's still my expertise on. So for example, we have this guitar maintenance workshop called BYOG, Bring Your Own Guitar. What am I going to cover? What am I going to teach our attendees? Right? So AIs can sometimes generate, right? Because there are already data there. What is involved in what people, we also need to sometimes ask questions. Sometimes what we think we know, we also need some data to prove. So what we realize is a lot of guitar owners do not know how to restring their guitars properly.
Okay, this that's a great point, because should you do it clockwise or anti-clockwise? Or does it make it doesn't make a difference when you talk about restringing?
There will be the next time you join our workshop, we'll teach you. There will be our way that we do it here. So you see every guitar that we hang here is string up in a certain way. It's how the manufacturers and the shops would do it. So that it's we can go quite a long discussion on that. As simple as just restringing guitars.
We got time.
Join the next session.
Okay.
I'll assure you that it's well worth your 1.5 hours on a Saturday.
Okay, let's do it. Cool. Anyway, so you were actually saying that yes, so you can actually use the AI to bolster what you already have, but it should, and the tricky part is taking out what's real and what's so-called not real.
But also, I like to also add on that AI is, because it's such a big buzzword now, it can also be overly represented sometimes or misrepresented. Because what actually, how would you qualify as AI or not AI? A lot of our products today, or even this mixer, some people say this mixer has got AI in it. Well, I won't say it has really got it can take over the sound engineer's job, for example, but it has got some clever tools, right? So again, is the whole idea of using technology or AI or whatever to make your life easier, better, rather than to cheat or to replace someone else's job.
Does that also mean that perhaps the new iteration of City Music, maybe moving forward, I don't know whether you call this 3.0 or 4.0, but whatever it is, that's going to be something 0.0. Do you think that eventually you're going to be selling musical software that is like, again, it's like Auto-Tune or AI-enabled composition software? Will that be on shelves eventually?
If you look at already what's happening, YouTube, you can see, AI wrote my next song, AI wrote this, wrote that, do this, Auto-Tune. It's already happening. And a lot of discussion, a lot of worrying talks. What's going to happen? It's you can't run away from that. But and it's going to get more powerful and more accessible, and most likely going to be less costly as it get even more developed. And some of them are already free. But AI cannot replace the real creative spirit that you have.
I tell you, the scariest ones are when the voice changers come in and they emulate, let's say, voices, right? So essentially any singer could then be on your track.
Correct.
If you used it as a guide, I think it's fine, like a guide track.
Correct.
You could perfectly do that, because that's the kind of feel that you want.
All right.
But okay, I know I'm not trying to paint the whole end of the world scenario and all that, right? But if you could take one of the singers, and if AI was so good at managing the perfections and imperfections of the inflections, right? To map it out to a certain emotion, to a story. I mean, you know, singing is oral, it's storytelling in a sense, right? You write those emotions. If AI was able to do that, I really wonder how many singers would actually be out. That really does replace the singer, unless it is in a live situation. Then that's where you still need those people, right?
It's still the discretion of the audience to decide how he or she accept or interpret what that product is. Give you an example. Japan have got this anime concert, Miku, Hatsune Miku. Hundreds of thousands of people go and watch the concert, but you see
it's an avatar. Yeah,
avatar. It's not real, but it's recorded by real people, right? But some people like to escape into a virtual.
Yeah.
Real.
I was just thinking about that metaverse concerts, right?
Yeah, metaverse, for example. So to whether be it true to it or not, I'm sure the audience will be able to know if this is genuine or artificially created. I'm sure they will be resourceful enough to find out a bit of background. I like this particular song. Obviously, is the producer would unless the producer is not ethical, that I did this everything myself, but everything's done by technology. But at the end of the day, I guess it's the onus is still on the audience. He will decide. Okay, even if it's an artificially generated piece of art, do you appreciate it? If you appreciate it, yeah. If you don't, fine. There are still those who stay true to the art and that's the real thing, and it's your choice.
I think Michio Kaku, that physicist, actually mentioned it relatively recently, saying that you don't have to fear AI. AI is a tool.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's not going. It still needs, like, for example, I can't remember what's the term. It's the language net or whatever it is that they learn. Sorry, I'm really bad at this, right? As you can tell. The whole language learning thing, it's really big right now, but it's still limited, right? And you still have to go into these parameters and keywords just to prompt the thing to come out. So you don't have to. It will never enslave mankind, basically. That's what he's saying. So if we're still thinking that Skynet, is going to take over the world, we're going to have robots running us, it's probably not going to happen. That's his take, though.
I just went to interestingly, I just went to this hot pot restaurant, Hai Di Lao. They have this robot serving the food.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure we all seen that around, and we have also realized a lot of them are no longer around.
Yeah. Even in the food courts, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But the ones in Hai Di Lao are still effectively running around, very fast, very effective. So this, you cannot run away from the fact that there are jobs that are not able to be filled up by businesses. And if technology can work in that sense, it was so effective. I was actually observing it because it's like, it's bringing out food really fast.
Yep.
It's avoiding collision. You can avoid collision very effectively. And it's like, it's quite a narrow pathway, and people walking around, and you don't see it like those that are not around in food courts, and obviously they don't work very well, right? So again, is the algorithm. I guess they pay a lot more for that technology, and it does work actually. So these are ways where actually AI can come in, or technology can come in to ease the workflow.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, if you got the noodle maker and turn it into a robot, it wouldn't be as entertaining, I think.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. Because what was entertaining was when you look at the bottling plants and the bottles actually miss. The machine is still trying to get there. That's hilarious.
That's entertaining, yeah.
Yeah. So, but that's the truth. If, let's say, for example, if the noodle maker were the robot in this case and makes a mistake, it wouldn't feel anything. It wouldn't be able to react. It would not be able to service the guest at all. So somebody still needs to go there to deal with it. Yeah. So technically, there will always be room for a human being. And the next question is like in your line for service, right? How do you up that level so that you keep everybody relevant and well, one step ahead of the machines, if you want to put it that way?
So let's say we are quite sick and tired of talking to a robot, chatting a bot. To even develop a very comprehensive FAQ takes a lot of work, takes a lot of effort. So how we do here is our space here, for example, if you go to our e-commerce, our website, there is a chat icon at the bottom of the screen. So you can actually chat with our team here. But we also enable, now this is not AI, this is just using technology. If you are a client chatting with us on our webpage, our web store, you can actually have the option to open up this video icon. It's like you can actually talk to, that we have this audio-visual trolley here, whereby you can actually see our entire space here, any product. And you can actually experience. So for example, you want to know the difference between this guitar and this guitar. So you can open up the camera. I don't really see you. You can see us, all right? Because you need to see us. You need to see our camera holding the guitars. Or if you need to hear the sound, we have mic set up. We can let you hear the difference.
Wow.
So basically, it's bring our space to your comfort of your home or your mobile device. And if you're happy with it,
back it up, send it over.
Add to cart. Let's go. But of course, having said that, the next step is if you want to experience more, like we're doing right now, please do come down to our space and you can experience more. You can have more comparison. Talk to our team here. Our team are very, very passionate and dedicated to. They love to meet our clients and share what we have here.
Okay, so thanks so much for spending the time here with me.
Thanks for having us in our space.
In your space, yeah. So it's kind of weird, right? It's like I'm doing it in your house.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks for having me in my house.
I really appreciate you coming down here and setting up this amazing setup. What you don't see on this camera and the audio here is Edric has, I think he's one of the more very technically savvy podcaster and content creator. He knows his cameras, he knows his lights, he knows his audio microphones and stuff.
Very much like you, I think expensive lessons over the years.
Yeah, expensive lessons.
So before we actually wrap this up, right? At the end of every podcast that we do, we always have a rapid fire 10 question with our guests.
Okay.
All right. So
10 questions.
10 questions. All right. So are you ready?
Let's shoot it.
All right. Question number 1. One word that you like the most.
Let's try it out. Man.
Try. Yeah. One word that you really dislike.
It's too difficult. It's too hard. Yeah.
Okay. If you could have a conversation with anybody, dead or alive, fictional or non-fictional, who would that be?
I think our founder of Singapore will be a very good...
Lee Kuan Yew?
Yeah.
Okay.
Very scary, daunting, but also would be a lot of... I like to watch his interviews and conversations.
Okay. Oh, what do you say to yourself in the mirror every morning?
It's another good day. Good morning.
Name one superpower that you like to have.
I think it'd be good if I can clone myself.
Wow.
Split myself so that there are things that I wish I can be at 2 places at one time.
Okay. Interesting. Favorite dish to eat?
Too many.
It's hard, huh?
I
this
love
question.
food, man. No, I mean, yeah.
You gotta pick one.
You just reminded myself I love to eat.
Gotta pick one.
Okay. I would say it has to be the local Malay hawker food in Malaysia. So it could be one of the fried kway teow and the fried noodles. Yeah.
Still good. Favorite travel spot or the next travel spot that you want to go to?
China. I want to explore more of China.
Okay, it's really big. Where's the next one you want to go?
In fact, we are planning now. In fact, we'll be going to Shanghai, and we're thinking where to go next from Shanghai. We're going there for a music trade show. It's called Music China. So it's in Shanghai, and usually it's part work, part social. So have not really explored yet. Maybe Jiangjiajie. We're looking at that actually.
Nice.
Maybe, I don't know.
Nice. Something in the arts that you've always wanted to do but yet to do so.
Learn to play the violin.
What does retirement look like to you?
Retirement is having the flexibility of time to work when you feel like it.
How do you want to be remembered? What's your legacy?
Wow, I want to be remembered that at least I was there to make friends with all these amazing people. If I could have helped out in any way, it would be good. Well, for example, during COVID, we would like to think that we did help out quite a lot of musicians actually, because that was when a lot of especially the live performers, they lost their stage, so they went on to live stream, and then only to realize is, hang on, how am I going to plug my guitar into my phone or my camera, so that's where we started reaching out to a lot of people, made a lot of friends, learned a lot of stuff. I mean, we have always been friendly, so I think that's what I hope we can remember as we were here for all of them.
Nice. All right, so that's the that was the 10 questions.
I survived the 10 questions.
You survived.
Wow.
Okay. So that being said, this camera is yours. Feel free to just give a shout out, tell them what's happening for you, and how they can come down and contact you.
Well, hi, this is Yeegn Lougn again. Thank you, Edric, for this amazing podcast. Please subscribe to his channel. Shout out to our host first. And of course, we are at City Music 3.0. This is our third home. We are at 701 Sims Drive, LHQ building, 0205 unit. And this is our new experiential space. Do drop by and check us out. We can talk about a lot of things. Could be collaboration, could be sorting out your equipment needs. It could be, for your next live stream, your podcast, or your next performance, or you just have something that you don't know how to get the best out of your content creation journey. Let us be the one to inspire your dreams.
Okay, so that's Yeegn Lougn from City Music, sharing his heart, I think his sage wisdom from business. From
You're too kind.
Being, again, 3 generations of wisdom here on the Epic Podcast. All right, so we're going to wrap this up. Thanks again, Yeegn Lougn, for being here, and we'll see you in the next episode of the Epic Podcast. Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, let's wrap this up. Thanks. It's great.
Amazing.